Hi, my name is Sasha, I'm Australian, and here are some Aussie author recommendations. Apparently, April is Aussie Author Month, which is pretty cool. I think pretty much my whole reading life I've been reading Australian. Lately, I've gotten into the indie community, like indie bookish community. I'm reading more of indie Australian authors, which is really cool. And like, because they're indie, they're like real people. I know traditionally published are real people too, but because they're traditionally published, they're usually bigger and they don't really look at their inboxes or stuff. Where indie authors, they actually like will chat to you, and which is really cool. So I've got a mix of both. Got a lot of physical books here, which is really cool. There are some books I don't own that I do want to talk about. First one is Maxine Beneba Clark. She wrote The Hate Race, which is a memoir about growing up in Australia in the 80s as a black person. It was really heartbreaking to read, like really eye-opening too. Like, I knew Australia was racist, and I hope we've grown from that. I want to read more by this author because she is from Afro-Caribbean descent, but she was born in Sydney in Australia. I used to see her on Twitter all the time, but I've deleted Twitter. So yeah, that is one that I definitely want to recommend to people. Another one is The White Girl by Tony Birch. Tony Birch is an Aboriginal man and First Nation author. The White Girl was a really digestible read. I don't know, digestible, because that's another like historical fiction about like racist Australia, pretty much, when we put the Aboriginals, the First Nation people, in camps and they weren't allowed to talk to white people, let alone have babies with them. And then there's this one girl who shows up and she's pretty white, but she's not. She is First Nation, and it's about her and her grandmother. It's about their journey pretty much, and that was a really enjoyable read. Another Aboriginal author is Gary Lonesborough. I read The Boy from the Mish last year. Absolutely loved it. 5 stars. It's about being a Aboriginal teenager and finding out that you're queer and just coming to terms with that. That was chef's kiss. Really good book, and I do want to read more by this author. So yeah, those are 3 off the top of my head that I do not own. I'll go back and look at my list later, but now let's talk about the books that I do own. First of all, I want to highlight Sarah A. Parker. She writes these beautiful lyrical fantasy romance, pretty much. So this is To Bleed a Crystal Bloom. This is the first in a sort of Rapunzel reimagining. This is very slow burn. There's not really any, there is a sort of a romance in this one, but I believe it does kick up more in the other books in the series. But last month I actually read When the Moon Hatched, which is Sarah's latest release. That book broke me. That was 5 stars. My favorite book of March. Not only does she write beautiful stories, she herself is a beautiful person, like inside and out. She was so nice when I met her at Rare, and then like we messaged each other on Instagram too, so I think that's so cool. I love indie authors, like just for that reason alone. Another indie Australian author that is making the rounds of the world is J. Bree. So J. Bree wrote the Bonds That Tie series. This is the first book, Broken Bonds. This was a special edition I got at Rare. J. Bree is so beautiful. Oh my god. Like when I met her and chatted to her, like I couldn't really talk properly because I was just staring at her because she's so that beautiful. Her books will make you cry. I have yet to read any of her previous novels. I think there's like some bully romance in there, and then she's got a fantasy series that she's in the middle of. I've read the novella for that one. I have heard great things about this one. I know this is a good book, so definitely pick up J. Bree if you love heartbreak, but also if you like sexy fun times for this one. I've heard this one is a bit more slow burn. This is enemies to lovers because they are fated mates, but they also hate each other because their races are like mortal enemies. So J. Bree is an author you should definitely pick up. Madeline Tayvu. Let me tell you, when I finished this, you know, the book did that to me too, actually. It hurt me emotionally as well, because when I finished it, I actually messaged her. I was like, what the fuck? And she's like, sorry. I'm like, no, you're not. If you like Throne of Glass. I think you would love this book. So if you're looking for those vibes, Madeline Tavu is definitely an Aussie author to pick up. She is indie. The third book in her trilogy will be coming out this year. She's just a really awesome person too, and she is a vet as well. So if you follow her on Instagram, you're going to see all of her vet posts, but also like all her bookish posts too. So definitely an Aussie author you need to pick up. An up-and-coming Aussie author that I was graciously sent a physical arc of her debut novel, and that is Amy Jane Lahan, who writes Who Could Love You, Astor Price. This book broke me, but Amy as a human being as well is just so down to earth. She's also kind of unhinged. Like, her Insta stories are very unhinged, but in a good way. This is a very heartbreaking story about a teenager growing up in an abusive household and just trying to navigate life as a 16-year-old in Australia. I wasn't a high schooler in the 2000s, but I can definitely relate to this. It says if you loved Nina LaCour or Kathleen Glasgow, this is a book you need to pick up. Another author that I love, whenever I see her at Supernova, we always have a mad chat. She tried to steal my baby. She's one of the coolest people in the world. That is Maria Lewis. So Maria Lewis writes these paranormal books. This is a werewolf one, Who's Afraid, and then she's got a whole series called The Supernatural Sisters, and there's 3 focusing on Tommy, but then you've got one focusing on like a siren or a banshee, my bad, and then you've got one focusing on like a ghost as well. Her storytelling is brilliant. I love the Graveyard Shift. That is, if you like 90s scary movies like Scream or others like Scream. To be honest, I just was thinking of Scream the whole time. But The Graveyard Shift is the book to read. It's based in Melbourne. It's an ode to like pop culture as well as like Melbourneian architecture too. I loved it. And Maria Lewis is just a fun person. She has these, every Monday she does Meme Monday on Instagram, and it's just so unhinged and I love it so much, and it's definitely an author that you should check out. Another author that I've had lovely chats to and met at Rare, that is Evie Mitchell. So she is a romance author, like a lot of these. This is her All Access series. This one focuses on a person in a wheelchair. Not the main focus, like she's just in a wheelchair. Like that's just, but it also like shows you some of the issues of being in a wheelchair, and I just loved it. And then this book right here, Second Chance Romance, she's got Crohn's disease, which is actually, the author has Crohn's disease as well. So that's very, what's the word? Like when you write your own thing into it, I can't remember, but you know what I mean. But she's also got like some motorcycle romances. She's just an author that I really enjoy, and I just love all her stuff. That just get me kicking my feet, giggling and screaming. Another author that's actually based here in Queensland, and that is M.L. Jewell. So this is her first novel, Rise of the Witches, and this is sort of like a urban fantasy. I don't know if I'd call it urban fantasy, but it's I just love this cover. I love matte covers, but the author too, like this book was really good. And I'm very excited for the sequel. But the author is just so fun. I love her Instagram posts. And she actually sent me a Christmas gift, like an Amazon, from Amazon. So that was really, really thoughtful and really cute. So thank you so much. Definitely an author that you need to check out. And I know she's going to go places. So here's an author that you probably already know, because if you've been on my channel for a while, I did a read along for 2 of her series last year, and that is Lynette Noni. So this is probably her most popular series, The Prison Healer. They did a Fairy Loot edition. It was published like by Bloomsbury. So was it Bloomsbury? This one's saying Penguin Random House. I think Bloomsbury did that. Maybe Bloomsbury did the US one. Anyway, Lynette Noni is Australian. She's a lovely person. Her storytelling is just A lot of people, I know, they've like read The Prison Healer, but they prefer Madoran Chronicles. I have yet to finish the series, but the Madoran Chronicles is very well done. I really like her newsletters. If you sign up for authors' newsletters, this is one you want to sign up for. I don't know, she does really good tidbits of the stories she's writing as well. Yeah, Lynette Noni is an Aussie author that if you haven't picked up, you should definitely pick up. Now, here's an Aussie author that I didn't actually know was Aussie until I was doing this list. But I read this back in probably 2016 because I actually met her at Supernova in Sydney, I'm gonna say. And that is Alison Goodman. So this is the Dark Days Club, or Lady Helen and Dark Days Club. This is actually the US hardcover. I'm not a big fan of the paperbacks, and they have also changed the paperbacks now too. So I'm never gonna have a matching set. If you liked the Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare, and you want more of those Victorian vibes, who is working out there?
Soon after.
I think she heard me. You really like the Victorian, like, demon hunter vibes. This is another book that you need to pick up. She does have a couple other series that I haven't read yet, but I did really enjoy this one. Another Aussie author that I read at the start of my Booktonet career is Jen Wild. So this is Queens of Geek. This is so good. So this is queer rep, autistic rep, and Aussie rep. I've read a couple of other Jen Wild books too, and they're all so good. Like, if you need a fun time, this is the book to pick up. And this focuses on a YouTuber too, who turns stars in a movie as well. But like, it does talk about some of like the behind the scenes of YouTube, like editing videos as well and stuff. I haven't read it in a while, so like I don't know how accurate it is, but I still liked that sort of rep when I did read it. This one I actually picked up, I think it was probably one of the first online book clubs I ever participated in back in 2016. I can't remember what the book club was, but I think it was hosted by someone named Taryn. It was an Aussie author book club, and they start off with Akane, which is Lynette Noni, as well as Summer Skin by Kristen Eager. Now, I have not reread this book, but this is probably my first new adult book because it's based on this girl who is going to university in Australia. Pretty much, it's a girl meets boy, girl steals from boy, seduces boy, ties boy to a chair, and burns boy's stuff. Just your typical love story. I don't know how well I would like it if I reread it now, but back, like, 21-year-old Sasha ate this shit up. Another Aussie author I've only read one book from, but I really enjoyed it, and that is Only a Monster by Vanessa Len. So this is the special edition. I loved it that much. I needed the purple sprayed edges and the purple cover. This is like a time travel book with a twist. I have seen, like, obviously got a special edition. I don't know if a lot of people know that this author is from Australia, but it's definitely like a Aussie YA book that you should definitely pick up. I don't know what's going on with this lighting. The sun looks like it's come out and just... Anyway, sorry. But another Aussie author is Jessica Townsend. I have read the first two books in her Nevermore series and really enjoyed both of them. I actually met her at Supernova as well. One thing I love about Aussie authors is that you probably will get to meet them if you live in Australia anyway. She was really lovely too, and she complimented my earrings when I did meet her. And this is a middle grade book you should pick up if you don't want to read that other series but you want that vibe. This one right here. Another Aussie author who, I don't know if a lot of people know that she is Australian, but like one of her books got super popular. It became a movie. Everybody loves it. And that is Sally Thorne. Now, this is not the book that got turned into a movie, but this is probably my favorite book of hers. I have read 2 and DNF'd 1, but this book does hold a special place in my heart because Abby from Abby Lisi, the book lover, and we both read this and annotated it and then gave it to each other. This is Abby's copy that she read and annotated, and it was just really fun. So yeah, this is a really fun reimagining on Frankenstein. I haven't read it, but I liked this one very much so. Yeah, Sally Thorne is an Aussie author. Another Aussie YA author, we've got Alicia Jasinska. This is The Midnight Girls, and it's sapphic. Like, how cool is that? She's got this out and she's got The Dark Tide out. I have yet to finish The Dark Tide. I think I started it a year ago and then my audio went back. This is a really good novel. I actually got sent a bookmark by the author because she was just giving away bookmarks for Christmas one year, so that was really cool. But yeah, if you're looking for an Aussie author for some readathon prompt, this is one that I definitely suggest picking up. And then the last physical book I own is The Other Side of Beautiful by Kim Locke. So this is an Aussie author. Obviously she's in this video, but I really enjoyed this book. This caught me by surprise. This was a 5-star read. It's about this woman who something bad happens and she ends up just not leaving her house for like 3 years. She loses her husband, she loses her job. One night there's a house fire, and so she ends up having to move in with her ex-husband and his new boyfriend, and she's like, nah, can't do it. So she buys this van and then drives all the way from Adelaide up to the Northern Territory, like up to Darwin, so pretty much straight across the country. And it was just her journey there, and she keeps accidentally running into this Scottish man who is also road tripping, and it was a fun time and definitely a book that you need to pick up by an Aussie author. And then I remembered one more book I want to talk about, and that is She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. They are an Aussie author, and I read this book, gave it 5 stars. I think it was brilliantly well done. I requested the arc of the sequel. I got the e-arc. I haven't picked it up, and it's been like a year. So what do you say about me?
You suck at everything.
Shelley Parker Chan is definitely an author that you need to read from. They are chef's kiss. That is all of the Aussie authors that I recommend you read that I have read from. I think I might do a part 2 of this video where I want to talk about Aussie authors that I want to read from. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. If you did get to the end of this video, pop an Australian flag or any sort of other Australian emoji like a koala or kangaroo, things like that. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Bye!